Paris, 17th century. A city tearing itself apart between splendor and rot. Imagine narrow streets choked with mud, smoke, and perfume, markets roaring, church bells warning of revolution, carriages crushing through filth, carrying silk-clad nobles past starving beggars. This is a city where cardinals plot assassinations behind velvet curtains, where poets whisper about regicide in candlelit taverns. Brilliant, volatile, hungry. Paris isn't just old buildings and fancy wigs, it's a pressure cooker about to explode, and you're about to walk straight into it. Start on Île Louvier, not the Paris of postcards. Raw timber yards, warehouses sinking into marsh mud, barges groaning with grain and firewood while dock workers drown in river grit. Now follow the chaos north to Porte Saint-Denis. The triumphal arch rises like a crown above the filth, carved victories staring down at carts, traders, and human misery. Glory built on grime, that's the theme here. The Hôtel de Ville looks like order itself, Renaissance stone, symmetrical, stern. Don't believe it. Beneath those carvings, messengers sprint with sealed death warrants. Merchants bribe magistrates in crowded halls. Outside, agitators shout revolution while cold wind whips through the square. Power here is a performance, and the stage is cracking. Cross to Pont Neuf. The bridge is pure, beautiful chaos. Jugglers, thieves, barber surgeons pulling teeth, nobles in bright silks brushing against pickpockets, pamphlets spreading sedition change hands faster than coins. Under the arches, ferrymen scream. The river stinks. Every face is a mask. Everyone's watching everyone else. This is where deals die and fortunes are born in the same breath. The Palais Royal sells you elegance, arcades, gardens, murmuring fountains. Courtiers trade secrets behind fans. The gravel paths are clipped into submission. But feel that tension? It's elegance draped over a knife's edge. Now escape to Luxembourg Palace, Marie de Medici's refuge from the noise. Ordered paths, statues, hedges trimmed within an inch of their lives. Noble families stroll, whispering about poison and patronage. Peaceful? Only on the surface. Place de Victoire is propaganda in stone. Louis XIV on horseback staring down at you. The circular square traps you in his gaze. Symmetry isn't beauty here, it's a threat. Notre-Dame broods over everything, dark stone swallowing the river light. Inside, incense chokes the air. Worshippers mutter prayers that sound like bargaining. The bells don't call you to God, they warn you that he's watching. Westward, the Tuileries gardens stretch in geometric perfection, trees in military rows, gravel paths that lead nowhere. Parisians come here to pretend they're free. Beyond lies Porte de la Conférence, where Paris dissolves into open ground. River breeze carries dust and court gossip. The city ends, the wilderness begins. At Port Saint-Bernard, the river turns rough, barges packed with timber, crews shouting over cartwheels. Old gates stand weathered, watchful. This is where Paris meets the harder world, and not everyone returns. 500,000 souls crushed into tall, leaning houses. Artisans, clerks, servants, and merchants stacked like firewood. No privacy, noise in every stairwell. The city's heartbeat is literally your neighbor coughing through the wall. The poor freeze on church steps, beggars with hollow-eyed children. They're not invisible, they're the foundation everything else is built on. Winters hit different then. The Seine freezes solid. Suddenly the river becomes a carnival. Skates, sleds, makeshift bars carved from ice. For a few weeks, the cold creates equality. Then it melts, and the drowning starts again. Find the pâtissière, warm ovens, sugar and butter fighting back against the stench. Tarts, biscuits, glazed fruits. Nobles and laborers stand shoulder to shoulder here, united by craving. Or lose yourself in Galeries de Palais, booksellers with forbidden verses, haberdashers with ribbons that cost a month's wages, gossip, bargaining, the rustle of ambition. This is Paris compressed into a corridor, everyone trying to climb, everyone terrified of falling. Louis XIV and Cardinal Richelieu, a king and his spider. Richelieu's strategy holds France together through siege and conspiracy. Their alliance is tension itself. One wrong move and everything collapses. Enter Cardinal Mazarin. Soft-spoken, relentless, he steers France through war and rebellion while shaping a boy who will become the most powerful monarch in history. That boy, Louis XIV, remembers Paris shaking with unrest. He vows never again, not through mercy, through grandeur. Louis XIV doesn't just rule Paris, he rebuilds it in his image. Old walls demolished, broad boulevards carved through medieval chaos, Place de Victoire and Place Vendôme blasted into existence, triumphal arches rising to celebrate himself. He fills the city with architects, sculptors, fountain makers. Classical elegance becomes a weapon. Versailles becomes his private paradise, but Paris remains his public stage, transformed, disciplined, illuminated by his will. The city becomes a mirror. Look at Paris and you see the Sun King, or else. Behind the throne, a constellation of duty, the Dauphin crushed by inheritance, brothers shaped into political tools, the women, daughters, nieces, Madame de Maintenon, pulling strings with quiet, strategic precision, a disciplined dynasty, every marriage a treaty, every birth a gamble. By country's end, André Le Nôtre has gutted the Tuileries. Gone is the wild. Enter sweeping geometry, broad alleys like royal processions, hedges clipped into submission, parterres arranged with mathematical cruelty. Parisians stroll through perfection and don't realize they're walking through a diagram of absolute power. This was Paris, not a museum, a battlefield dressed as a ballroom. Every stone holds a secret, every shadow hides a scheme. The 17th century didn't just happen here, it was engineered, fought over, and paid for in blood and sugar. Subscribe. The past isn't dead, it's waiting.